as we come out of what was a pretty good Full Gear. We've got some great things to look forward to in the coming weeks and even next year, like Adam Hangman Page as the AEW champ and Bryan Danielson kicking all the heads in, and also CM Punk versus MJF2. I'm John Retton with my review of AEW Dynamite, and yes, the post-Full Gear Dynamite with a terrible rendition of the Friends theme to start off. There was some good stuff on this show, some great promos, and some stuff that was kind of on, but you can expect that from a post-pay-per-view show. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. And they're in Norfolk, Virginia, and boy, that crowd was really loud for cowboy shit, cowboy shit, cowboy shit, and as JR said, it's Cowboy Shiznit Day. I'm a little bit worried about JR that he's trying to power through this stuff while he's going through skin cancer treatment. I hope that if anything, not necessarily takes a turn for the worse, but if he needs to focus on his health, he takes time away. He's given the fans so many years. He's given a few decades of his life to professional wrestling. If he needs to take a few weeks off or even a couple months off to just rest, relax, and get his, health correct, that's what he should do. But I hope that he can continue to do what he loves because he does love professional wrestling. Even with the mess-ups, he still loves wrestling. And him saying Cowboy Shiznit at his age is pretty funny. We do get some Full Gear clips to start the show. Loud cowboy shit and AEW chants, and then a card rundown. I do like how usually, unless they start right off with a match, they bullet point the show right off the bat. This is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to see. You're going to hear from this guy. You're going to hear from this guy. You're going to see the women in this match. Whatever you're going to see, they bullet point it. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, they lock you in right there. So, we do cut to the Bucks, Omega, and Cole, the super clit, as one of my friends said. Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. I'm not going to say it made me think of something, but I'm also not saying that, if that makes sense. Anyway, the Elite lost last night. They lost the night, and congrats, Hanger, you won. And Omega's taking time off. Apparently, he does have injuries, and look, every wrestler does have injuries that they work with. If Omega does have enough injuries that have piled up that he has tried to work through, that he can work through, needs to take time off. However I feel about, any of his matches or whatever, the guy should get his health right. And honestly, after a year or nearly year-long title reign, he really should take some time off. It might do him some good just to rest and relax. That's the thing about long title reigns. Eventually it gets to where it's like, okay, where do you go after that? So, in retrospect, a little bit of time off will do him good. And I did kind of like how Omega was going to talk, and Cole did do the whole, don't worry, cleaner, I got this. That was pretty funny. If you know, you know. And Omega says, oh, I was talking about the Bucks. Ooh, little dissension. We're going to get Cole versus Omega at Revolution if Omega is back in time. I think that's pretty much a lock. Unless they drag it out to Double or Nothing, which they could. So, the Dark Order were in the ring to start. And Paige comes out in a Virginia is for lovers shirt. I assume that's a normal saying for Virginia. I'm not really that familiar. Cowboy shit chants. And they kept saying, you deserve it. And he says, I didn't deserve it. I effing earned it. You earned it. You earned it. You earned it. Okay, the crowd was eating out of the palm of Adam Hangman Page's hand. And he's like, I'd love to celebrate National Cowboy shit with you guys. Celebrate it with you all and everything. And And he... Good promo. Yes, Paige's promos at times are a little bit dodgy, but he hasn't had the best material to work with. You could tell this meant something to him. This was one of his better promos in AEW. And he mentions how he knows sorry, it's going to take a while for me not to say Daniel Bryan. I apologize. Bryan Danielson, because that was his name on the Indies and in Ring of Honor and other places before he came to WWE and had to fight, scratch, and claw through really bad creative and everything. And I was there for his retirement. I was also there when the show was hijacked, and it was for the Slammy Awards in December 2013, and that was really, really fun. Anyway, so Bryan Danielson comes out, still trying really hard trying to put the Bryan before the horse, if you will, and he says, I just came out to say congratulations, Hangman Adam Page. And I looked at Bryan and I go, oh, I know what he's gonna do here. I know what he's gonna do. He's disappointed it's not Omega. And, he was hoping to face Omega again. But Paige says, well, unlike you, I beat him at Full Gear, and I did it in less than 30 minutes. Ooh, okay, we're getting some good stuff here. They snipe at each other. Of course, and he mentions about, main eventing WrestleMania, and they boo and all this stuff, and he wrestled the next night, and Paige is out here celebrating. Of course, Virginia boos hard work. This is exactly how good Brian can be. He could switch it like that. He is really goddamn great like that. One of the best of this generation. I mean, and his promos really have improved. They really have. He's just he's a likable guy as far as like outside the ring, but he can just hit that switch. It's like Bret Hart, the whole Canada US thing. Just kind of reminds me of that. I'm not saying it's good. Bret just had that magic and that magnetism, with the Canadian people. But this is about as close to what you're going to get. And he says, oh, Paige, we can face off against each other. But it's like, you know what? I don't want you to, use the excuse that you weren't ready. It's like, oh, so I'm not going to face you in your hometown. Paige says, oh, well, I'll still fight you. And we had a shoving match and a pull apart. Let them fight. And Bryan Danielson with the quip. They know I would kick his ass, so they won't let him go. And Paige rushes at him, breaks free, does this great shit. And it was fitting because we were right into Bryan Danielson versus Evil Uno that I saw some people crap on. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of the Dark Order. Nothing against people personally. Stable is here and there, whatever. But that being said, this match made sense. It made sense because Evil Uno, original member of the Dark Order, the association with Adam Hangman Page, and it was heel Bryan Danielson in full force. I mean, he switched it again. There were, some great, he treated Uno like he was beneath him, which on the pecking order and everything, yes, that would be the case. Even though Uno can work, I give him that much credit. Him and Grayson are a good team. Graves tag team, on the indies at one point, who knows. But heavy forearms and slaps, he stops Uno's flurries, he hits a psycho knee, and the camera catches this, I'm going to kick his fucking head in. And then gets a triangle for the win. I love this. So far, we're fucking rolling on this show. We're doing some really good stuff. And then Shivani goes to interview Bryan Danielson. Shivani was all over the goddamn place here. He was in pre-tapes, he was in the ring. They are really giving Shivani a lot of stuff to do. Which is nice because it's a nice hook back to the Crockett days. And Bryan Danielson just healing it up. He says that, well, Paige, you're going to be to blame for me kicking the head in of every single member of the Dark Order. And he says, hey, we're in Chicago next week. There's a member of the Dark Order from Chicago. Hey, Colt, I'll see you there. Good. You know what? They need another heel, and I think Bryan Danielson could be, next to Miro, could be the best heel they have. Well, there is MJF. But anyway, speaking of MJF does a post-match promo, knocks the roster and everything, mentions all the names. Said I made you all look like idiots. I'm only good on the mic or whatever. I don't know what the fuck was in that goddamn bottle. It was a bit weird. It looked like a Howard Hughes situation. And he says, I'm just as good in the ring as I am on the mic. And says that, where does he go from here? We find out a little bit later. Shivani interviewing Eddie Kingston, who gets interrupted immediately by 2.0 and Garcia. And Eddie and Garcia, okay, I'm all for it. And he says, I'm just begging for one promo without interruption. I'm begging God for one promo. It's just so good. Butcher and Blade with the Bunny and Matt Hardy, taking on Orange Cassidy and Tomohiro Ishii with Rocky Romero and the best alien friends. And this is the best way you can introduce Tomohiro Ishii to a nation and worldwide AEW audience. Yes, many people know his name. He just recently beat Jay White for the Never Openweight Championship at New Japan's Battle in the Valley. Check out my review of that if you would like. Thank fuck he did. Now the Never Openweight Championship actually means something. But Tomohiro Ishii is a great talent and can still go, but Father Time is catching up with him. It catches up with everybody. He's 45 years old. He's going to be 46 in just a few weeks. And sure, you can keep yourself in great shape, but eventually, look at Minoru Suzuki, look at others, catches up with you. They got a few shots with him, and this is what they do. I know he's... Whatever. Why is this feud with Matt still going on? I mean, I have my opinions on Orange Cassidy. The match was what it was. Butcher has cut some weight. I've noticed that. Cut a lot of weight. And I mean, not that he was big before, but it's just very noticeable. You effed up Chance because he kept trying to strike with Tomohiro Ishii. We get a big superplex. And Then we get a crossbody, from Orange Cassidy outside. Everybody interferes. And then vertical drop brainbuster, 1, 2, 3. And Tomohiro Ishii at least gets a victory. Then Shivani interviews Andrade El Oli Olio, FTR. Stop letting Andrade talk, please. It's not that Andrade is not charismatic. It's just it does not translate well. He has an assistant, I guess that's his name, G.I. Jose, whatever it is. Whatever his name is. I think his name's Jose. I actually don't know. Let him talk. Switch a Lucha Bros heel and have the Lucha Bros, have their promos, and Andrade have his promos done by Alex. Something. It just, I don't know. They're going to have an 8-man tag until he says, hey, Arn, I got one more in me. Please don't. I want to see it, but I also don't want to see it. Yet I also want to see it out of morbid curiosity. But please don't. Don't feed my morbid curiosity. That doesn't work out well. That's why I rewatched the last year of WCW. And oh boy, I lost my mind there. Tony, basically, or Ty Conte rather, because Tony Schiavone's just all over the place. Ty Conte says she learned a lot in defeat. She will be AEW Women's Champion one day. I mean, it was a pretty good match. It did follow, a couple matches that were kind of eh. So Schiavone interviewing Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, can't hide that, no stretch pants, and Rebel. And the DMD thing, Britt says that, Jamie's going to face off against Thunder Rosa next week. And Shivani mentions that, and Britt's like, well, she's going to beat her. That's easy. Then we get Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero against Ikaroshita, and Serena Deeb was in the front row, even though the camera didn't show her, because they couldn't, give away that something was going to happen. TBS quarterfinal match. Okay, first I want Shida to cane me in the face. I have issues. Look, 51 wins for Shida, 50 wins for Nyla. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know why they didn't make it a big deal about Nyla winning. Because people are like, well, Shida won some big matches. She also won a lot of matches on Dark and Dark Elevation. Same with Nyla, but still, you could have done that. But they've kind of pigeonholed Nyla Rose as somebody that can do impressive shit, and that's it. Now, could Shida's knee stand the punishment because Deeb had beaten it up? Now, there were elements of a good match in this, but there was sloppiness that took me out of it. And that's a shame because the women did work hard. Unfortunately, Vicky's involved. And I'm sorry, I loathe Vicky. She does not deserve to be there. She does not need to be there. She's been one of the most ineffective managers in her later run of WWE and also just here. She has added nothing to Nyla Rose, who can cut promos on her own. So anyway, when it clicked, it was great because these two work well together. Nyla targeted the knee. Vicky interfered. Shut up, Vicky chance, and then there was an awkward guardrail spot, and then the chair backfires. Nyla tries or sets Shida up on there, does a senton. JR just takes the piss out of this whole thing. It takes piss out of that moment, not necessarily the match, but that moment because it was stupid. And then Shida, hits Vicky or whatever. Oh, you stupid pratfalling dumb bitch. Yeah, the wall didn't help you there, did it? I just get Vicky out of here. Just get her out of here. Even taking personal feelings out of it, she is not effective and good at all. And then after that, it looks like Shida's going to win, somehow overcome this. Indeed, clips her knee while the referee's distracted. And then there was that beautiful fucking knee drop that Nyla Rose hits off the top. Beautiful maneuver. Could be a finisher. No. And then a beast bomb countered into a choke. And then we get a senton on the knee. And then the stretch muffler, the standing stretch muffler. And Shida taps out. Nyla wins. Good. They just went through a few too many things to get. Yes, you could give Shida an out. I get that. I didn't mind Deep's interference. Yes, they need to have Vicky interfering. You need to have the bullshit, but it was what it was. Malachi Black is doing a pre-tape promo about Cody Pack and the Lucha Bros. Talking about, going to turn the very air toxic. Enjoy the oxygen while you have it. Okay, good stuff. MJF with Wardlow and Spears out to Chorus of Booze. And Spears tries to cut a promo, keyword tries, and MJF says, you tried, that's why you're a good friend and a great accountability buddy, and says that, he could take your hometown horse and send him to the glue factory, and says he could take a cowboy shit on his title reign. Talks rankings. No one is on my level. This is a great MJF promo. Here's CM Punk to a pop and a sing-along. Shut the fuck up chance at MJF. Punk doesn't say a thing. He goes to shake his hand, MJF does, and Punk just looks at him and walks away. Now, nurse this along. Don't give it to us till Revolution. Tease it. Give us skirmishes, tag matches, whatever. Get this to pay-per-view. Get this to pay-per-view, and you could have something. AEW likes to claim they do long-term storytelling. You do it here, you will get a bigger buy rate because people will pay to see this shit. So, anyway, that was actually pretty good. And then we go to Shivani with Darby. He's not going to take time off, and he wants to face competition. Here's the Gun Club. He said he wanted to face competition. Anyway, the Super Clit, as, again, my friend said, talk about Jurassic Express. The Bucks aren't medically cleared. They also aren't wardrobe cleared because their wardrobe has to be some kind of medical condition. They have to be doing this shit on purpose. Nobody on pure air and of any sound mind with an attached brainstem would dress like that. So it's Cole and Fish versus Jurassic Express on Rampage. So, Acclaim talks about Dante Martin and Lio Rush. He's got more partners than Pete Davidson. Hey, it's like, hey, Leo, you're better off as a manager. If you know, you know, and I also don't disagree. Leo's good in the ring, but it's just, I don't know. It's like a white power, it's like dressed like a White Ranger. Go, go, White Ranger. Oh, man, really butchered that goddamn song there. So, Dante Martin and Lio Rush versus the Acclaim, Bowens and Caster. Dante is very good. I have not been feeling this teaming with Leo. It was just a bunch of moves with no psychology. It wasn't bad. It was just samey. I did like the This Is Awesome Sucks sign. That was good. Moonsault, Frog Splash, 1, 2, 3. I didn't hate it, but it was what it was. Team Taz with Hook comes down, and they did say, hey, Leo, we, condolences to your family. And I feel for Lio Rush. Lost his grandmother. Obviously, he was close to her, and I hope that he's able to compartmentalize more and continue to pursue his career. And he does have his own, I believe, wife and children. So, hopefully this can be something he can keep the memories. And if he was that close to his grandmother, use what his grandmother taught him and continue his career. So they basically say, hey, you can either have a great career with us or a mediocre career with Leo. This is coming from the same people that lost a cinematic match earlier this year. Also, Hook! So anyway, Christian Cage says, never bring a fish to a fist fight. It is at this point that I have determined that Christian Cage does not mean anything in AEW. Jungle Boy says, shit, I'll eat thumbtacks for breakfast. That sounds like a terrible diet. Why would you say that? Rampage has Billy Gunn versus Darby. Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet. A pre-tape on Jade versus Red Velvet. If that match goes more than 3 minutes, we are fucking doomed. Apparently they taped Rampage after Dynamite. Okay, good. Cole and Fish versus Jurassic Express. Dynamite has Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter. I will be perfectly fine during that match, I assure you. Bryan Danielson versus Colt Boom Boom Cabana. Cody, Pac, the Lucha Bros versus Andrade, El Olio, Malachi, Black, and FTR. So the Lucha Bros and Alex do a pre-tape. Please let Alex talk. I respect Penta and Phoenix, but Alex cuts the better promos. Obviously, the Lucha Bros cut great promos in Spanish, and that's fine. But if you're trying to appeal to especially a primarily American audience, mix it up and everything, but let Alex do the talking, because it seems like they're even kind of uncomfortable cutting promos otherwise. Jay Lethal versus Sammy Guevara, TNT Championship. Tony Nese in the front row with his niece hitting the guardrail. It starts fast with some near falls and some good work. Jay Lethal is a well-traveled veteran that apparently does not respect women. If you know, you know. Allegedly, should say that. But where there's smoke, there's fire. But then again, he's got Don NDA Callis on his books. Tony Khan does, that is, so he clearly doesn't really fucking care. Sammy does a dive. Later, Lethal does a dive of his own after focusing on the ribs, the previously injured ribs, and gets hit with a brainbuster outside. Crash and burn through a table, because of course we had to have that. Sammy just brain himself there. Figure 4 to the ropes. We get knee strikes at a GTH 1, 2, 3. Inner Circle comes out to celebrate, and we get a handshake with Lethal, keeping the Code of Honor alive. Okay, we'll see what happens on Rampage, and we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Things are looking bright for some, and meh for others. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.